All right, you guys will have to keep me updated as to volume levels and stuff, because I've never done this before with this setup, and so it's probably going to sound much more airy, much more roomy. I'm running this off of this computer, this PC, which is my old one now, or in like an hour it'll be my old one. And so he's been good to me, but that means I have to keep looking over here, so it's going to be a little complicated, but just bear with me. We'll try to do it. But yeah, keep me updated. I will try to keep an eye on the chat as we go, but I promised that I would live stream this because this PC wouldn't be possible without you guys watching the videos. It's funded by the channel and by patrons and advertisers and everything, so thank you to all of you who watch consistently. This is possible because of you. But quick rundown of what we've got. Also, if we have frame drops and stuff, let me know as well. We've been having issues. One of the reasons we have a new PC. So keep me updated on that. But what we got? I don't need this. Manuals. I will say that I did already boot the motherboard, CPU, and RAM together. So just to make sure that they aren't fried, it would be really sad if we did a live build and then all the CPU and RAM was no good. So that at least posts, so we're okay. Just as a point of clarification, that's why I've already opened the motherboard, for instance. But the case just got here like an hour and a half ago. And then I started setting up for this, and we're going to go through it. But we're going to have a good time. Hello, everyone. We got Harry Vlog in here. Your vlogs better be hairy, dude. Nicholas. We got Nicholas. Geralt. Ninja Potato. Sergeant Buttfist. Oh, yeah. We got some people in here. I love the variety of names. But basically what we've got is a Prime Z270 motherboard. This is going to do the job. Well above and beyond what I technically need, but this is going to be good. This is going to be good for what we got. We also are going to go with 32 gigs, two 16 gig sticks of LPX DDR4 RAM at 2666 megahertz. This stuff is going to be insane, but I need it for video editing because I've actually been having issues with this build right now. This RAM is DDR3, 16 gigs at 1866, but something's wrong in the BIOS where it keeps throttling it back to like 895 megahertz instead of 1800. So I don't know what's wrong with it, but this is going to be a big upgrade, very important for video editing, especially as I start doing more and more large projects, which are coming. And you guys seem to really enjoy those based on the response to this most recent Assassin's Creed Unity video, which I would love to hear what you thought about it if you saw it. And Wesley, yes, I will be reading chat. Hello, 101 Mythbusters. So this right here is a 850 Evo SSD, 500 gigs. That's what we're going to be installing Windows onto. I also in here, this is the heart of the channel. I have an SSD, an older one, but one that still works. I use this for video editing, temporary footage, so I copy it off of, like if I stream something, I save it to this guy, and then we'll edit it, and there we go. So this guy is very important for video editing and for the channel thus far. And then this guy still in here is a 4 terabyte Baricuda drive that I use for like recording gameplays. So for Unity, I played through all of Unity for that video and recorded the entire thing. So I can fit like the Witcher 3 full playthrough on that hard drive and then filter through it all so I can do much longer videos, which is really cool. For the CPU, we're going with an i7 7700K. We're going to overclock it a little bit, not excessively because we don't need to, but we're also going with an H100i V2, which is a water cooler. It's an all-in-one, should get the job done. Let's see. Jordan Green says, I went to click live chat and accidentally unsubscribed. Am I now classified as a new subscriber? Why not? Welcome. So yeah, we're going to have a good time with this. What we're going to do is we're going to build the PC. We're going to put it in the case, which I'll show you in a second. But before I can like install it and everything, I have to end the stream because I only have one keyboard and one mouse. And so I have no way of interacting with like the BIOS and stuff, which I didn't really think through. But why would I buy a second keyboard just for this? I don't know why. I spent a lot on this, but I'm not going to spend that much. But so we'll build it, we'll put it all together, and then we'll end, and then I'll boot it up. And who knows? We might do. We'll talk gaming tomorrow. Will be the first thing done on that new PC, so it should be fun. Yeah, Geralt says, by the way, I loved the Unity video. I liked that game. It was pretty fun. I'm glad. Sniper TV says you don't need a keyboard and mouse to keep the stream going. While I wish I actually tried it, I'm using XSplit right now, and for whatever reason, when I unplug the keyboard and mouse after starting the stream, there's no way to get it back in. It's like it locks the USB whatever controller. So I all of a sudden, the only way I can shut off the stream is if I shut down the computer. And then there's all sorts of problems on YouTube. So it's easier. But as I said, I already tested this and it posted. So the elements work. It's just a matter of plugging things in at this point. We have... Almost dropped it. A GeForce. I couldn't get the box back on. I'm sorry. I have a GeForce GTX 1070 Founders Edition. I love this card. I've been using it. And this guy took it out, replaced him with his old predecessor. But we're going to use that. As for power supply, we have an NEX 650G. This is 80 plus gold, I believe. And it's fully modular. So that's going to be very, very nifty. And what else? LED strips, and then the case, which I will pull up in just a second. So, can I see it? Yeah, I don't know. Let's just get this guy up. The case, though, I'm running out of space already. This is going to be fun. Put it over there. Put that there. We're going to take the power supply out first, because I have an anti-static wrist thing, and I want to make sure that I'm not frying stuff. Mason Giles says, isn't Far Cry 5 reveal tomorrow? Yes it is. Just looking at the promotional stuff, I can tell you I'm pumped for that game, because it looks like they're going full Waco, Texas on it. And if you are not from the US, basically what Waco was in 93 or 94, I want to say, during the Clinton administration, there were some guys in Waco, Texas. They were called the Davidians. And they were kind of an extremist religious group that was changing semi-automatic weapons into fully automatic weapons because they thought the end of the world was coming and that they were the key to humanity, blah, blah, blah. Pretty normal stuff, but that's just what you got. So the military went in and tried to smack some sense into them, but it turned into a massive standoff, and the Waco place burned down. A bunch of people died. It was a big deal. So yeah, after the stream, if you want to go watch a documentary on that, or even during the stream if you want, because this might be boring, go check that out, because the whole Waco thing is really freaky. But no, it looks like apparently they're drawing direct inspiration from the Waco stuff, but placing it in Montana. And I think it could be really cool. Yeah, David Koresh. And yeah, during the Clinton administration. Both Far Cry 5, this is what 101 Mythbuster says, both Far Cry 5 and Talk Gaming are tomorrow. I don't know what time the reveal starts, but Talk Gaming usually starts at 4 p.m. Eastern, right? Yes, that is correct. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, if that's easier for you to translate. I'm not sure. But I'm not sure what time the reveal is either. If it's going on at the same time, it probably won't be, because I think they're doing it at like noon. Then we'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. I've been waiting for new Far Cry Primal. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't interesting to me. Wesley Payne, what's your question? Wesley Payne asks, what are your opinions of playable females in Call of Duty World War II and Battlefield 1's next DLC? Also, what do you think of the censorship of swastikas in Call of Duty World War II? So two big things there, which I find very, very interesting and offer great discussions, which I could make entire like hour-long videos on by themselves. This is the case, by the way. The H440. I don't know if you can see it, but he's a monster. Really dinged up, though. UPS delivered him. He is dinged up. I hope he's okay. But anyway, so going back to the question, female characters. Obviously, the reason people get upset about female playable characters in like Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty World War II is because, I mean, female soldiers on the front lines in those battles weren't really a thing. You could say, yeah, there were occasionally units that had women in them, but those were so rare, it's basically negligible. And so I don't know if you want to count those or not, but they're very, very rare. Now, do I have an issue with it inherently? Probably not with multiplayer, because so much about the multiplayer isn't really realistic, and probably, usually people are wearing masks and gas masks and stuff. It's not going to pull me out. But for single player, yeah. If, how do I get this out? Come on, come on. I'm going to have to be smart about this. But usually, in single player, it's a matter of immersion. I'm going to do the upside down. Let's break all the rules. But usually in the single player, my problem with it would be that it breaks my immersion, completely rips me out if I'm like, okay, like in the new Beauty and the Beast, for instance, where they've got like black poets and a black librarian and all that, and I'm like, I don't care if there's a black dude in a movie. Lord knows I don't. But it does kind of pull me out when I know that in that time period, in that area of the world, the blacks hadn't been freed from slavery yet, and the fact that he's a librarian is a little absurd. But a lot in that movie is absurd, so I'm kind of willing to overlook it. Emma Watson, really absurd. Couldn't sing, and they gave her the lead in Beauty and the Beast. What are they thinking? The Beast's song in that movie saved it. I'm telling you, it would have sucked if they hadn't given it to him, and I wish he had more, because he's awesome. Yeah, you asked me a question about Battlefield 1, and I start talking about Beauty and the Beast. That's what you get. As for, let me see, what was the other part? I don't want to skip over it because it was good. What do you think about the censorship of swastikas in Call of Duty World War II? Well, that's a very good question. One of my favorite games that's very, very underrated is called The Saboteur. And it's a game set in World War II and in France and all that. And it takes heavy inspiration from Assassin's Creed, actually. And I've talked about that in that video I did on whether or not Assassin's Creed would work in World War II. I was using Saboteur gameplay. And, come on, get out of there. And as for, like, specifics, like, they had to cut out the swastikas on the German version and I think the Australian versions of those games because they're seen as hate symbols, which might be true, I guess, depending on your culture, you could make that argument. But, I mean, I hadn't heard that they're cutting all swastikas out. That's a little absurd. But, like, it's just one of those things where it's gonna happen. If it pulls me out and I'm like, I'm fighting Nazis, but there literally aren't even, like, the armband is just red and then a white circle. There's no swastika. If that's what it is, I will have something to say about it. But if it's done tastefully for the sake of making it easier to publish worldwide, that's fine. But they could just do it like they did in the Saboteur, where they just have a bunch of big white banners instead of swastikas. They just replace the textures. I would think that would be the easy compromise, but maybe not. But yeah, no, I don't have a ton to say about it, probably. Hello, Loai, Mukatash. I feel bad, I can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry. 101 Mythbusters says, have you seen La La Land? Thoughts? Yes, I really do. I really like that. I really do have thoughts. I really like that movie. Everyone I know, except for my brother and his wife, who are expecting a baby soon, they love it. But everyone else I know hated the ending, and it's kind of hilarious. I actually thought this far ahead. I have my dusting cloth. Can you tell that I use it for dusting? We're going to lay this out and lay the computer down on that for installing the motherboard. So, yeah, no, I really like La La Land. I thought it was great. I thought the ending was exactly what it had to be true to the story. No spoilers, but I thought it was what it needed to be. But it's not the typical happy-go-lucky ending that a lot of people want or think they want. Come on. One of the great things about these NZXT cases is that they have these thumb screws. When they're new, they're hard to get out, but they have these thumb screws that have latching mechanisms so that they don't fall out. How cool is that? This is also sound dampening foam, so it's supposed to be a much quieter case. I'm going to leave the cover plastic on for now. Once it's all done, I can take it off, but ooh, this looks nice. This looks very nice. Okay. So, looks like the ATX standoffs are already included, which I remember from my other NZXT case, which is very nice, because I don't enjoy that. They also have all of these wires here. Get out of there. They have the USB 3 header. You can't really see it too well on the stream, I'm sorry. HD audio, this is all for the front panel, the top ports. And then this is USB 2.0. I actually had to put a piece of duct tape over this guy because when I put a USB device in here one day, the entire computer I plugged it in. It was like one of those USB kill devices. It was really, really bad. It was really bad. Yeah. Yeah, Corinago. There we go. Corinago 1988 says, how badly would it look for Lukipu to screw something up during assembly? Oh, I'm going to screw something up. One thing. I've never installed a water cooler, for instance. That's something I haven't done before. So we're going to try that for the first time today. Hopefully not make too much of a fool out of myself. But, yeah. Now, one of the reasons I chose this case specifically was because it has a lot more room for expandable storage. It has great cooling, and it's also very clean and white. And my plan is to have this, as I finish up some of the accessories, to have this fully themed in Lukipu swag. So we're going to have a Lukipu decal actually painted on the front panel, and we're going to have obviously the RAM, it's not done yet, but we're gonna paint the RAM blue, and then the header on the CPU cooler is gonna be throbbing white and blue, and then we're also going to have on the motherboard, it has some LED RGB stuff that's gonna be pulsating blue and white, so it's gonna look really cool, I think. Let's see, Geralt says, did you at least watch the tutorial? Yeah, I did look up a couple tutorials on installing the H100i V2. So I think I know what I'm doing, but there's always, apparently for some motherboards, the header doesn't go in the CPU fan slot, it goes into another little plug-in power thing. So that's going to be the one thing, but we can check that. We can check that out in the manual. Let's see. 101 Mythbusters says, did you like the Assassin's Creed movie? I actually did a review on it. If you look on the channel and you go back to December, I actually did a review on it. I got home, turned on the camera. I think I saw it with my sister and girlfriend. And yeah, I did like a full review on it. Go check that out. Not a great movie. Not a great movie. But this right here, fun note about building a computer, you want to make sure that you keep this cover, because sometimes if you have to send it back, like your motherboard back, for like some warranty claim or something, then they require you to show that you have that. I don't know why, but that's what was told to me, and so I do it, and I will warn you to do it. We're going to use the box as our test bench for now to assemble part of this. So we are ready. Let me open it up. As I said, I already booted it up and posted it. So it should be good to go. There we go. There we go. So yeah, this board is pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy about it. It's got everything I need, and that's really all I was looking for. I don't need a ton of bells and whistles. For instance, built-in Wi-Fi, I don't actually need that. I have like an $80 network card that lets me get like 125 down, so I really don't need that, but it gets everything I need to do. Drinking coffee, keeping it over here because it is stripping from the condensation, and I don't want to get that on these components. So I already installed the back plate and the standoffs for this water cooler, but I didn't actually install the water cooler all the way because I didn't have the case to mount the radiator in, which makes sense. Yeah, which makes sense. Whoops, there those go. So we have the fans. We have the fans for the radiator, and as I said, this is an all-in-one. We have the cables. This is an all-in-one, so it's already basically assembled, save for a few personalizing choices, such as whether you want push or pull, or how you actually go mounting this. So it looks like it already has thermal compound applied, which is nifty. That's a nifty gifty. And yeah, so what we're gonna do, I have my handy dandy screwdriver, and we're gonna set this up to pull, but it's gonna pull as an exhaust out of the case. These look right, and we're gonna need these. Okay, and we're gonna need that. Okay, so for now, that's good. I'm gonna set that aside. All I'm doing now is I'm just gonna be attaching these fans to it. Got to think of orientation. Correct orientation. Very important. Muy importante. I should get the screws out first, shouldn't I? And double check the manual. What do we got going on in the chat? Alt Z, how's it going? Let's see. Mason Giles asks, what's the processor? We're running an i7 7700K. It's going to be a beast. It's going to be an absolute beast. I was looking at getting the 6700K, but the difference in price wasn't enough for me to really think that there was a justifiable difference. Let's see. Let's push. B. This is the fun part of these builds. 115X. Yes, we used the right standoffs. Correct. If you use the wrong standoffs, basically they're standoffs. They're different heights. So if you use the wrong standoff, the cooler won't actually sit on the CPU heat spreader. It will float above it. So it'll be a complete waste. It won't do anything. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Looks like I was right. I was right about my screws. Yeah. Azif Khan asks, is it difficult to build a PC? Not really. The way it's been described to me, which I actually agree with now that I've done it once and I'm doing it twice, I would say it really is like adult Legos. And
people hear that and they're like, "What are you talking about? That like what?" But it's true. Like it really is like adult Legos, and I think it's because like it's pretty straightforward. There are these pieces. You put these pieces together, and then you have, a finished product, a finished device. But there is a lot of work that also has to go into it, which I'm fine with. I think it's good. So I just realized I don't think it'll actually let you mount it. I don't think it'll actually let you mount it in a push or a pull configuration, because then there's no place to actually screw these in. So we're gonna have to do it in a push configuration, but from the bottom, which isn't actually ideal because it means that there's gonna be some pretty significant dust buildup. So I'll just have to clean it off like every few months to keep it from going crazy. So if you're not familiar with water cooling, all this is, we have a radiator, we have the CPU block, if you can see that. This block sits on the CPU, and water, and basically a mixture, a chemical liquid mixture, about half water, half of, I can't remember the name of the chemical. It's basically like antifreeze. They go and they filter through and they dissipate the heat into the radiator, kind of like your car, and keep everything nice and cool. Which is pretty cool. Come on, you whore. Is that going in right? Think so. Think so. There's a surprising amount of cables to keep a hold of. And I have this cable running out here so that when we mount it, we have the choice of going to either side for the sake of cable management. A little bit further. A little bit further. Yeah, that looks right. Looks right to me. What do we got going on? Let's see. Whoops. Prince Ben TV says, please answer me, Luke. What was your question? I'm scrolling. I'm looking. Just answer you? Hi. Hi. Prince Ben, please answer me. I'm here. I'm here. I can see it. But yeah. Okay. Next screws. Joo. Super fun. Neat Sarah says Lukey has a high-end setup, 144 hertz monitor, GTX 1070, i7 7700K, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 200/120 keyboard. Yeah, I guess you could classify it as a very good setup. I'm very blessed to have this. Again, thank you to all of you who watch, because every video you watch, little teeny tiny bit of ad revenue comes in. And to those of you who are patrons, especially thanks to you, this would not be happening if it weren't for your generosity. And I'm very, very thankful that we can do this. Let's see. Prince Ben says, you complained about the lacking difficulty in most games. Are you interested in competitive games like Dota 2 or StarCraft 2, etc.? I've tried them. I've tried Dota 2. I really wanted to get into it. But the problem for me is that they have such a huge... What would you call it? It's not necessarily a learning curve, because the games are fairly straightforward. The problem is that they are incredibly tough to, like, actually get competitive. Like, I don't know how to put it, but there's a few people in there, or a fair number of people that have been playing the games for like 3 years and are incredibly good at it, like scary good at it. And you don't want to mess with them, and if you get in a match with them, then it's screwed. Now, the way that they've tried to fix that is by having it kind of segregated based on your experience. So if you're more experienced with the game, you get paired up in matches against higher experienced players, which makes sense. But when everybody is better than you, it's tough to actually learn how the game is played. And that's where I am right now. I am not somebody who necessarily learns those games quickly, especially because they can be fairly complicated, and at least in terms of like menuing and the shortcuts and everything that you're expected to use. So I appreciate other types of games, not to mention that they're obviously online mostly, and I have never been big into online multiplayer. I just haven't been. Same with sci-fi stuff. It's not my thing. Some people love it. Whoops, the plastic cover came off. Some people love it. I'm just not one of those people. It's not made for me, and that's fine. Not everything has to be. Like the Surge, that style of game, I love. I'm gonna put this back on. That style of game I absolutely love. But the problem is that I don't, like, the setting is just not interesting to me. The setting in Bloodborne vary, but the setting in The Surge, and some people will say I'm crazy, for me, it's just not my personal taste. We all have different tastes. That's just how it is. Let's see. Lays says, but yeah, Neat Sarah. Yeah, I usually like narrative games more than anything else. The fact that The Witcher 3 is my favorite game, I think, explains that. Because as a game, that's where I get into trouble. Because you have to ask yourself, like, at what point are we judging this as a game or as like a whole new type of media? Because in many ways, gaming isn't even playing a game, like in the classical sense of a game. It's not that way anymore. It's like evolved to this new thing, and it's bizarre, but I think it's good at the same time, but I don't know what to make of it. And so I think, when we refer to video games, we're not just talking about video games in the same way we were even 10 years ago, because they've evolved. Look at The Last of Us. Are you going to tell me that's just like an arcade game? No. Like The Witcher 3, I think are experiences. That's the only word I can really think of to explain it. And it probably makes me look like a bit of a douche to describe it that way, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so what we're gonna do, it suggests installing the radiator before mounting it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it by the book, literally. We're gonna get it in here. I'm just hog tying it, holding it like a I don't know, severed head. I don't know how you hold a severed head. Come here. I don't want to scratch it. It's been in my house less than 2 hours, and I scratch it. Lays 2070 or Lays asks, what about the Cyberpunk 2077 then? You mean in terms of like narrative or games and stuff? I'm not sure what that game will turn out like. I'm really honestly not sure. Do they want me? I would imagine they want me to mount the motherboard first. Maybe that's what we should do. I think that's probably what we should do. Never mind. Let's mount the motherboard first. It's not very clear. So, as I said, the standoffs are included. So, if you're not familiar with PC building, that's fine. Basically, the standoffs, first the IO shield. Can't forget that. The standoffs basically just prevent the back of the motherboard, which I'll show you in a second, from hitting the back plate
of the computer, which would be bad because it would cause shorting. And you could fry your motherboard right as you power it on. And you don't want that. So this I/O shield is just important. Keeps crap from getting out. I want to make sure I'm orienting it correctly. I do believe so. Yes. And we push it through. If I can arrange it correctly. Doop, doop, doop. There we go. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Wish you were here. Let's see. Syriaka, Sasha, I don't know, says Fallout 4 is 67% off in Steam. Great. Yeah, that's probably about what it's worth. I've like I said, I went back and tried playing it again because my little brothers were really enjoying it, and I wanted to give it a fair shot. And I went back. This is very delicate work. I went back and started going through it again, and I honestly believe it doesn't come as much of a shock, but it was a bit of an epiphany for me when I realized that you can't play that game as an RPG, and if you try to, you're gonna have a horrible time because it's not an RPG at all. It's not. What it is a open world shooter, and that's it. And if you play it like that, you'll have a good time and enjoy it, and it'll be fun. It'll be a cool experience. But if you try to play it as anything else, no, you will have a horrible time. I just have to figure out where I put these mounting screws. Now these are for the water cooler. That's that. This is one of the fun things about having all these boxes open at once, is that you have to find the right screws for the right thing. And sometimes you lose track. Yes, it is. That's there. Those are the standoffs. These are... What is that? Oh, that's a power splitter. These are both for the cooler. Wherever did I put those? It came with it, right? I put everything from the motherboard over there. Sariaka says, is Fallout 4 worse than Fallout 3 then? Depends on who you ask. I went back and also tried playing Fallout 3 because I was like, okay, well, am I just being a bit of a butthole? Like, is it honestly... Oh, they might be in the case, actually. Like, is it honestly worse than Fallout 3? Is Fallout 3 actually good? And I went back and tried playing through it, and what I found was that Fallout 3 also is a horribly designed game. And a lot of the problems with Fallout 4 are also there in Fallout 3, but we all just kind of ignored it. And it's actually really funny. If you go back and you watch the original IGN review of Fallout 3, where the guy is talking about the deep and compelling story and the fact that there's so many hundreds of branching narrative options, and it's now ridiculous because it's like, dude, there aren't. It's not there. But yeah, no, people are silly. Graphics card. I'm just looking for the screw mounts, the friggin' mounts to the motherboard. Let me see if they were included in this, because I pulled everything out of this box. I think, because I can't remember if they are included typically in the case or the motherboard, and they might be just hiding in here. I haven't really looked. There is a box. Come here. I bet this is it. Because I don't remember seeing them in the motherboard package. For those of you asking what's on my wrist, it's a static discharge cable or wristband thing. And it basically just keeps you, like I'm standing on carpet right now. Come on. I'm standing on carpet right now. And that builds up static. And static, unwanted energy of any kind, is not good for anything electronic. So this is mounted to my power supply, which is grounded, and that should, in theory, keep me from unwantingly shocking the motherboard and shorting it out, which would be, again, very bad. So let's open up this box. I think this is it. Get in there. Yeah, we're getting in there. Seriaka says, okay, I'm relieved. I liked Fallout 4 or Fallout 3. Maybe The Witcher 3 set the bar too high to play any other game. It's actually kind of hilarious. When I talk to people, yeah, here they are. When I talk to people about like The Witcher 3 in general, because a lot of people contact me and talk to me about The Witcher 3 and about their experience with it and thanking me for recommending it to them and all this. And I'm very flattered, and I'm glad they got the experience of it. But they have like all these stories where they're like, I'm glad I played it, but at the same time I'm a little heartbroken because nothing is ever going to be this good now. And I think that that's probably fair, because it is a little heartbreaking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm counting 9, which means that these screws are only option, I do believe. I do declare. They also include a manual. Let's check. Take us 2 seconds. Because we're going to do this right. We're going to do this right. Fan control module. Just looking for the motherboard. I must have looked right at it. Yes, here. Okay, D. Motherboard installation. D. Unit D, which is 632 by 5 millimeter. 632 by 5. 632. Yes, these look right. Okay. So many screws. What are people saying? Corinago said, or Corinogaro, I can't pronounce names, says, let me clear that out. Says, Lukey, count the mounting points on your motherboard and you will know how much you need. Yeah, that's what I did. I counted 9, which is why I'm a little confuzzled, because they include 4 of these 5 ones. 632. They have 632 screw hexagon and screw flat. And I don't think they specify which. They just say D. And D is 632. They say, it looks like they include 54. I think that's what they say. They're saying 632. Okay, well, there's 2 bags of 632. I'm gonna assume it's the bag with enough of them. So let's get those there. And if they're too small, we'll know really quickly. We'll know really quickly. What Asus motherboard is it? It's a Z270. These aren't going on in super clean. Let's see. Ashhole71 says, what do you think about the Eagles in AC? Assassin's Creed? Like, just birds in Assassin's Creed? They're birds? I don't know. One of the tropes of a Ubisoft game is the concept of, like, you know, those high sweeping shots where you climb the tower and it reveals a chunk of the map. Some people love it, some people hate it. Because it's in Far Cry, it's in Assassin's Creed, it's in all of them. And it's funny how polarizing something so simple can be. Amanda Evans and John Forsyth, they're coming down big long stairs. Come on, Brian, you know this. Okay. That looks right to me. Is That Boy says, hey Luke, when will you do your first gameplay stream on the new PC so you can push it to the limit? Well, we're going to be doing Talk Gaming on this guy, unless something horrible happens, tomorrow. That's the plan, which would be super fun. I'm all for that. As for a specific gameplay stream, I'm not sure. Hopefully we won't have the same frame drop issue we had when we were live streaming Bloodborne a few days ago. I don't know what that was, but it was real bad. I saw it played back on YouTube after, and I was like, yeah, no wonder people were freaking out. This is insane. So I actually made that video unlisted because it was so... It got to the point at the end where it was unwatchable. So I just took it off. If you have a direct link, you can watch it, but otherwise, it was so bad it just glitched out at the end. Lisa McGraham says, I just built my own gaming computer recently, so I feel your pain. Yeah. No, it's good. I think it'll all work out just fine. Did I screw all of those in? Yeah, I believe so. I do declare. Whoops. Yeah, if you lose a screw, don't think that it's okay, it'll fall out, because you're going to forget, and it's going to fall behind the motherboard, and you're going to fry your computer. Don't do it. Oh, it could never happen to me. Yeah, it can, if you're stupid. Don't give karma any reason to mock you. 'Cause she will. She will, oh so vigorously, mock you. Judgeinator says, ever play Overwatch, Luke? I have. But as I said previously, like multiplayer games like that, just I've never been that into. I much prefer those single player experiences. Plus all the people that I was playing Overwatch with, I realized they were kind of, I don't know, they weren't the kind of people I would want to become. And I think at some point you have to make a decision about who you're exposing yourself to. Because you become the people that you surround yourself with, whether you like it or not. It's a human trait. And I think in many ways it's inevitable. So you gotta, at some point, consciously choose who you're hanging out with. And nothing strictly against the game, but the people that were playing it with me, I don't know. Felt like I could do better in some ways. So I went and played single player games, am I right? That makes sense, right? Lisa was asking what kind of RAM we got. I think it was Lisa. Yeah, it was Lisa. What kind of memory? We got two 16 gig sticks, wherever I put it. Yeah, two 16 gig sticks of LPX DDR4 RAM. So 32 gigs in total at 2666 megahertz. It's going to be flying. We also have an M.2 slot on this board, which if you're not familiar with 1.2 storage, it's crazy fast. It's like between RAM and an SSD. That's how crazy fast it is, because it's connected basically right to your motherboard. Well, not basically, it is connected right to your motherboard, so it's much closer to your CPU, and it's much, much faster. USB 3. That looks like this. Okay. And HD audio. This is all just so much fun. RGB header. TB header. You're a TB header. I don't know what a TB header is. Chassis fan. Those we shall do later. Okay. I do believe our motherboard is now mounted securely. I do declare. Find out if it falls over. Nope, it's good. It's good. Okay. Put that back in there. Okay. Okay. Microphone is still working. That's good. Carol says, Overwatch and League of Legends are literally the worst game communities out there, toxic and competitive to the extreme. I have come across many toxic communities in my time. Then you can kind of see inside what I'm doing. I've seen many toxic communities in my time. My first soiree back into the competitive, or back into gaming after I took the summer off, was making a video on an upcoming game at the time called No Man's Sky. And I made this video talking about how I thought that it didn't look interesting. It seemed repetitive. I didn't think it was going to be fun. And I got death threats. Literal death threats from saying that. And it was real bad. It was real bad. But before we do anything... So yeah, but the point is, there's a lot of toxic communities out there. You just have to be careful. So I'm going to also take off the back panel. We're just going to strip this down to the bones. And I'm going to install the power supply while we're at it. And we're going to try to hook up what we can on the motherboard before we tangle it up with the water cooler, because it will get crowded. Just looking at this I/O shield. We have to be very careful, because this I/O shield, wish I could show you more closely. This I/O shield is kind of weird, because it basically has these little metal grommets that are supposed to protect it and keep it in place. The problem, though, is that if they hook inside like a connector, like a DisplayPort or USB connector, they can short out the motherboard once you power it on. And I think one of them is actually curled and damaged ever so slightly to the point where it's going into my DisplayPort. I'm glad I caught it now as opposed to once I powered it on. Are any of the others doing that? No, DVI is good. It's that. I mean, I don't want to have to... Yeah, it's not going in. Yeah, there you go. Because I don't want to have to take the motherboard back out. But if that's left there, then it will short out the motherboard, which would be very, very bad. Right as you power it on, the board gets shot. You can't just send that back for a warranty replacement. Let's see. Judgeinator says, I'm looking for a new game to play, Luke. Can you recommend something? What's the word I'm looking for? What platform? Are you on PS4 or PC? Let me know and I can recommend something. Carol says, it's all about layers. Think ogres. Communities have layers of players where different skill levels and niches respond to different levels of culture. The lower, the lower. Yeah. No, it's gaming communities are just weird, and I feel bad that I don't want to have to take the motherboard back out. Can I just... Because it's in the SATA and it's in the DisplayPort. Yeah, I mean, if it's not clear, basically you have the port, like the port, say this is your USB port, and you have these little metal grommets that it's supposed to, when you put like the motherboard in, it's supposed to come in, and this flap of metal is supposed to tuck in beside it. What happened is this is coming in, this is USB port, and it just got caught inside. And I don't have anything to cut it. Just happened to I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. There's a big, very pretty shield on the motherboard that's supposed to cover all that up, which makes it look nice, but the problem is that it makes it so you can't access it from inside the case without taking it off. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to lay it back down and fix it. I'm not going to try to just cram a screwdriver in. But while I'm back here, I can slide our power supply in. That way, at least we get something else done. But yeah, we're gonna take this off. Okay. So there's always these little back plate things that you're going to attach to the back of the power supply, and then they slide in very neatly. Like I said, these thumb screws are great once they're kind of worn in a little, but at first they are damn snug. There we go. Do. Okay. I do believe these are for the power supply. So let's get those open. Lay that down. We'll double check, because it can't hurt to double check. Power supply, power supply. Where's our power supply? C. Unit C, and those are hexagon screws. 632. Hexagon screws, 632. Hexagon screws, number 632. But yeah, no, it's going well. The computer monstrosity porn. Yeah. Well, nothing makes you appreciate the like clean build logs that somebody like Linus throws together. Because like they're just so clean and put together. But they're clean and put together because they spent like 10 hours editing it so that it looks clean and put together. In real life, this is what these live builds tend to look like. Like, oh, I'm making such good time. Oh, I have to redo everything because one little metal fin is a little off. And if I leave it, it will fry. That's what we're dealing with. But like once we get this going, once we fix that problem, it's gonna be, we're gonna be flying. There we go. Just gonna cram these wires in here. Get them out of the way. Oh, that's cool. I just noticed this. There's an actual physical switch that you can turn to enable XMP. Which, if you're not familiar, like when your RAM is really fast, like a 2666 or something, you have to go into the BIOS to enable it. You can't just like, you know, boot up, insert a stick, boot it up, and it's running your RAM at that high speed. You have to actually enable it in the BIOS. And one of the ways you do that is you gotta enable XMP for certain RAM types, such as the one I'll be using. And there's a physical switch in the bottom right hand corner for enabling that, which is cool. And of course I'll double check it in the BIOS, but if that works, that's kind of awesome. I don't know why it isn't always on. Is there a reason it wouldn't always be on? I don't know. Judgeinator, who asked for game recommendations, says, yeah, I play on PC, but I also have a PS4. I'm open to anything on either on those platforms. I mean, of course, a lot of my recommendations will be a matter of my taste, but if we have similar tastes, we might get along. If you're on a budget, I would honestly recommend trying Unity on your PS4 if you haven't. The game runs better on consoles, at least, like it doesn't run at as high a frame rate, but it's much more stable and steady. On PC, like with my 1070, I was able to get it well above 60 FPS on ultra settings, but draw distances, even on ultra everything, the pop-in is still really severe, which is frustrating, but that's just how it is. Did I miss a screw? No. Okay, let's fix this bugger. Get him curled up. These guys curled up. This guy curled up. Okay. That little fix should be all we need to do. Let's push it in. There we go. Now let's verify before we screw it in. If I can turn it. Okay, the SS one is good. Damn it, that DisplayPort one did it again. I don't know what it is about that DisplayPort. I also don't know why these little pieces of metal have to exist at all. There's probably some really good reason. Somebody will be like, Luke, you idiot. This is why. How did you not know that? I'm unsubscribing forever and I'm going to kill your family. It's possible. But I don't know. And there we go. Okay. We're good. We're good. Carol says I still have a GTX 860M and Intel i7 3.8 gigahertz, but it's a laptop. Yeah, if there's an M next to your graphics card, it's a mobile version, which in many cases runs just fine. But it's usually a smaller form factor, less power, because it would get too hot. But there are some that use full power, and those are awesome. Those are awesome. So I got to figure out this mounting just to double check. D632. Installed 0 accessory box. There's 58 of them. Verify. Remember, it's much easier to double, triple, quadruple check than it is to redo all this stuff. 632. The problem is they just don't make it very clear. The accessory box, we opened up all the screws in that. Those are for the water cooler. We have KB 510s that are going to be for cases, 632, or for fans, 632 screw flats, and 632 hexagon. The 632 hexagon are for the power supply, so that leaves only the 632 flat, but those don't match up with what we actually see in their picture, which is comforting. Is there a second accessory box that I'm missing? I do not believe so. I do not believe so. In which case, in which case, I'm so funny. I mean, I can't imagine it, like the specific head of the screw will make a difference. Motherboard installation. G. But where'd I put it? Where'd I put it? They're coming down big long stairs. Come on, Brian, you know this. Why is that stuck in my head? That don't make no sense. Is it because I already screwed one in? I don't think I did. Go in there. We're just double checking standoffs. Verifying everything in the manual. We don't want to leave any room for messing up. Because like I said, this is not a cheap, it's not a cheap computer, and it's only the second one I've ever done. I'm not that confident in myself, and I will make that clear right here, right now. G and H. G, there's already a standoff there. And H, there's already a standoff there. Those look right. And then it says mount it with D. Yep. Yep. That's what we're doing. We got it right. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Okay. Fasten, 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 fasten. Okay. Double check the headers. Good, good, good. Still good. Okay. Okay. No one's judging anyone, Lucas Dung. Don't get stressed out. No, we're all friends here. We're all good. We're all good. We're four friends building a PC for friends. Switching screwdrivers might help. Okay. And we're off to the races. So yeah, Rockstar announced that they will not be showing Red Dead at all at E3. Which is heartbreaking, because I was so ready and excited to see more of that game. But they said nope. And actually, a lot of people are starting to think that they never intended to launch this fall at all. It was pure marketing. Which I guess is possible. Because as I said in the video I did on it, they've delayed every single game they've released in the last 10 years. Which is a little insane when you think about it. But they have delayed a decade's worth of games, not releasing it on time every single time. And some of those games are close to the world's best selling. So clearly they're doing something right. And perhaps that's one of their secrets. Delaying to build hype. And maybe it works. If the game is sought after enough. I don't know if a game like, for instance, The Stick of Truth, that game has been delayed a bunch. It now is coming out October, I think they said. So it's been delayed almost a full year, because it was initially supposed to come out December 6th. And obviously that didn't happen. They pushed back, I think, Final Fantasy or something to that date. Come on. But yeah, I mean, maybe they delayed it on purpose. Well, obviously they did it on purpose, but maybe they delayed it having never intended to actually release it. Possible. Marketing teams are weird. They can do some weird things. There we go. Yeah, Lisa says when you think about it, the marketing team might have decided to do a test of a reaction. It's possible. Plus, I mean, like, you got to think, is it possible that it would hurt their sales? Because if it's going to help their sales, I think it's reasonable to assume that they did it on purpose. So, is it going to hurt their sales? Well, it's Red Dead Redemption. One of the, if not the most anticipated game of the year. And it is just, this screwdriver is not very good. It's highly, 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 highly anticipated. And they decide at the last minute to delay it. All it does is get more exposure in the news and gaming publications. Like, oh, this great game that we're all excited for has just been delayed. Here's your chance to get it. All of a sudden, a whole new group of people that weren't necessarily ready for it now have exposure to it and have a heads up on when to buy it. I think it makes sense that they did it on purpose. I think they did. I see no reason why they wouldn't or couldn't. And as I said, they've been doing it for a decade. And it's working. So even if initially they didn't intend to, like 10 years ago they didn't intend to, or GTA 5 they didn't mean to, there's no reason like why the marketing team wouldn't look at it and be like, hey guys, we keep delaying these games and then they turn out to be incredibly successful. Why don't we just do that with Red Dead 2 and, you know, just do that. Say that we're working on it to perfect it. Then people are all excited because we look really good because we were waiting extra time to release a game saying that we need it to be perfect. And we're all happy. We get what we want. The consumer gets what they want. We all win. Except for maybe the consumer because they don't get it immediately. But even then, you can't necessarily say that because it is possible that they are perfecting it. And it wasn't ready. They're just taking a little more time. I'm fine with that. Okay. There we go. Get the dust rag out. We're going to mount this power supply to the back plate. And then we're going to be moving. We're going to be moving. What are the questions we got? I want to hear your questions while I mount this thing. Bonnie Sandsclyde is in the chat. I just got your save the date, Bonnie. Thank you very much. I actually have it on my desk. Right here. Save the date. Bonnie's getting married, you guys. Gotta wish her and her soon-to-be husband good wishes. And yeah, I think I can make it to the wedding. That's gonna be a blast. Very happy for you two. There we go. Glad to have you here in the chat. Lisa says, I think with the Fallout 4, or the Fallout, see, it's instinctual now. I think with the Fallout of an Andromeda, that some companies are banking on telling people, oh, we're delaying it because we want it to be good and not like that other game. I think that's true. It's why something like Andromeda can actually have a positive effect on the industry. Even if the game itself sucks, the effect can be positive because it scares the crap out of other publishers. Because they see what happened with Andromeda, where now Mass Effect, this formerly huge series, is indefinitely on hold. I mean, Mass Effect used to print money, and now they've just had to put it on hold indefinitely. That's insane. And so I think it works. I think it works. Do. Okay. But my guess is that Red Dead, I mean, knowing Rockstar, I think they've always done this thing where they say, oh, we're delaying it and polishing it. And it works because it actually lives up. And the game they release is polished and great and amazing. If the game they released was garbage, then people would be upset. Like when they delay a game, like if Bethesda were to start... I honestly believe the reason Fallout 4 came out early, like November 11th or 10th, I think it was 10th, when they did that, and everyone's like, wow, that's so amazing. Well, yeah, it's because they completely skipped the polish phase. Bethesda said, hey, All of our games are buggy. They expect it to be buggy. So let's take advantage of that and just release a buggy game, and we'll get away with it because they expect it. And that's why I, as a matter of principle, had to start saying, like, you know what, guys, no. We at some point have to play fairly and say, this is insane. No, you're not allowed to do that. If we're going to criticize other developers for it, we're going to criticize you. So I'm mounting the power supply down with fan down. And the reason I'm doing that is because there's actually an exhaust with a dust filter on the bottom built specifically for this case. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And good, all of those tabs in the I/O shield are correctly positioned. Come on, get in there. There we go. And the last one right there. And now this isn't as important since we're not going and touching the motherboard as much. But, well, actually, I can probably take this off completely at this point. It's when you're touching the motherboard that you want to be really careful of static. But now, like I said, I'm going to mount that 24-pin connector and the CPU power connector. And get that all ready to go. Let's see. Carol says, we now get so many games that people prefer to wait a little more to get a better product because they still have stuff to play in the middle term. I think so as well. It's one of the benefits of market saturation. Simply that when there's so much out there, people tend to want more. Let me say that again. When the market is saturated, there's a lot of really high quality products, or a lot of products. So quality is what differentiates your product from the rest. It's kind of the basis of capitalism in many ways, that when there's a ton of competition, these producers have to find some way of standing out, and usually and hopefully the way they do that is through quality. It's not always true, but usually they try to stand out through quality. And the hope is that they stand out through quality. And so with something like video games, it's a perfect example because all of a sudden there's tons of games coming out that the consumer can choose from, and they just get to choose the one that looks or runs the best and performs the best. And it's actually really good. Let's see. We are running the 24-pin right there. This powers the motherboard. Come on. There we go. It's not going in super smooth. There we go. But earlier when I was doing a test boot, it also struggled to fit. It's just the plastic. But okay, one connector down. Now the power supply works with a 4-pin, or a, I think it's 4. Yeah, it's 4. I mean, it's technically 8, but it's 4x4. And the cool thing about this is that they're actually labeled. So CPU 1, right there. So you actually can keep track where you plug it in the modular power supply. You can trace it all the way up through to the motherboard, which is very helpful. So, coming out right here. This might actually, now that I think about it, the radiator is going to sit right here. So we have to take that into consideration. If this came through right here, It should be okay. It's pretty low. That's pretty low. I mean, if it interferes, we'll just push it down a little, but it should be okay. Should be okay. Let's see. Jordan Green says, camera zoom in. I wish I could, but I'm running this off of a little webcam that I use for the live streams, and it doesn't like digital zoom. I bought a really nice camera that I've used in some videos. Canon T5i. Really good camera. Gets the job done. But the problem is that the HDMI output on it is friggin' like it interlaces it, and it's like 720p interlaced, so you end up with an image that's basically 360p. It's rubbish. I don't know why they did that. Well, I do, because they wanted to upsell you to the more expensive cameras, but still, it's really annoying. Let's see. Jordan Green says, I think the next Mass Effect game hinges on how well the next Dragon Age goes over. That's going to be interesting to see how they approach that. Because I'm not really sure how they're going to approach the whole Dragon Age thing now that Mass Effect flopped. Because they're actually really closely linked in terms of their development and workflows and everything. Okay, cooler. So, basically what I have to decide, and it probably doesn't matter that much in actuality, but we have to figure out if we want it going with the tubes this way or with the tubes that way. I'm leaning towards this way because I like them out of the way. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to mount the hoses that way. Plus we have this big shield for the I/O, which looks nice from the front, but if it's cluttered with the hoses, I think it'll look bad. So let's get these screws. Yes, these are the right ones. Let's get these out. They have little washers on them. Little metal washers. And let's just thread a couple of these so we can hold it up. Okay. Let's see. Angel N says, hey, if getting into PCs, what do you recommend getting or making, and would it be reasonable under a budget? Yeah, there's many good PC builds you can follow online. Many good ones. I'm not an experienced builder, so I wouldn't trust me to recommend you a particular item or build. But if you go on Reddit, for instance, like I think there's a thread called Help Me Build My PC or something, and they have experienced PC builders that just watch that thread and will help you if you want to build your first PC. They'll recommend parts, they'll help you figure out how to assemble it. It's really good. Not to mention that there's, of course, YouTube videos. Jay's 2 Cents does build guides. There's all sorts of good stuff out there. But yeah, you can easily build a computer, a gaming PC that will well outperform anything you'll get on a console for, the price of a console, which is all we really want. In the end, it's better performance at a competitive price. Let's see. Carol says, a trend to banish social justice from video gaming. After each revolution comes a counter-revolution. I put my hopes in that law. Yeah, no, you can bet your bottom dollar. I think we're already seeing it. The rise of somebody like Rags, if you're not familiar with Rags and his YouTube channel. He's somebody that mainly focuses on like PC gaming pride and PC Master Race type stuff. I really like his content. But he also delves into the sort of wrecking social justice stuff. And he makes some really good videos. Highly recommend you check him out. Very good.
And I think he's an example of a counter-revolution already in progress. Because the fact that he has 200,000 subscribers and just makes videos bashing people saying that The Witcher 3 is racist because it doesn't have enough black people, I think is pretty significant. And whether you are a leftist or more of like even an alt-righter, I mean, either way, you're welcome here because we're talking about video games. We're not typically talking about politics. But either way, I think we can agree that either which way, politics becoming heavily involved in gaming is not what we want, because we really stand nothing to gain from it and everything to lose from it. Because the second people start telling others what they can put in their game or what's okay to put in their game, or they have to fill in this certain quota of a certain gender or some subset of people to be quote-unquote fair, I think that's the day we all lose. As with any art, I mean, if you lose your freedom in it, it's not art anymore. Then it's just mandated expression. And nobody wants that. You certainly don't. I certainly don't. That's one thing that's worrying me about like The Last of Us Part 2 is that Neil Druckmann, the game director and the creator of The Last of Us, he actually is an outspoken fan of Anita Sarkeesian, the feminist frequency chick. And that's concerning. And you see it in some of his work, but mainly Nadine in Uncharted 4. You didn't see it a whole lot in The Last of Us, I would argue. Some people would argue otherwise. The reason I would say that you don't really see it until Uncharted 4 is because Nadine is such a blatant example of them trying to create like a hardcore badass chick that it's at many times cringy. It's so bad. At one point she beats up 2 fully grown men, both of which have spent time in prison. And I don't care how well trained you are, but 2 big dudes, especially Nathan Drake, who has a history of killing basically thousands of people, he with his bare fists, he's gonna beat you. Especially once you pair him up with his brother, who spent a bunch of time in whatever type of prison. I think it was a Mexican prison or South American prison. Not a nice place. I don't know, that bugged me. And now they're getting their own spin-off game, Nadine and Chloe. And I think Chloe should have been killed off the first time she appeared in the games. I think it was Uncharted 2. I always mix up Uncharted 2 and 3. But I think she should have been killed off. They kept setting it up for a character getting killed off, but never did anything with it. And it was like, well, why are you even doing this? They had a bunch of foreshadowing in 4 as well, but they never did anything with it. Yeah, Bonnie Sans Clyde says, I would rather someone put something in because they want to, not because they're told to. I agree, and that's the big thing. Jordan Peterson, who's a big free speech advocate, he's a Canadian professor. He's really, really good. He's got some really good videos out there and lectures that he does, and he's brilliant. He's an example of somebody who's so smart, it kind of makes you feel impotent. Carefully do this. But he has done videos discussing this, and his big thing is he didn't want to refer to people by their pronouns, as they say, if they were transgender. And people said he was hateful and all this, and he said, no, you misunderstand. I have no issue with calling somebody by or referring to somebody as a gender other than the one they were born as. What I have an issue with is you telling me that I'll go to jail if I don't, which makes sense. And I think that that's something that everybody should stand behind, simply as a matter of principle. Let's see. Where does this go? Channel 1 fan. I think these actually can just go back here. We're going to tuck those back there. But, yeah, no, I have no issue if somebody wants to create it. I actually would much prefer it.
if somebody puts out like a hyper liberal, hyper, you know, crazy, whatever, like video game talking about their political views in some weird way, I think that's good because we need that. But what I don't like is when you're threatened with jail time if you happen to disagree. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out how this can mount. That could work. Crossing over like that. I hadn't taken into consideration how stiff these tubes are. And they're very stiff. But I think they'll loosen up once it gets hot, right? I think so. Let's see. Yeah, Carol says, I have nothing against feminists. I have a lot against the third fudgin' wave. And I think most people would agree with you. Geralt of Rivia says he wanted Nate to die at the end of Uncharted 4. I guess that kind of qualifies as a spoiler, because he doesn't. Maybe? I don't know. It's been out for a while. It's been out for like a year, so I think that probably qualifies. And I mean, if you're interested in those games, you already know. But, yeah, no, again, it goes back. I think Naughty Dog has a tendency to set their stories up for some sort of big, well, just to kill someone off or to do something big with the characters. And then they chicken out at the last second and don't do anything. Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, they have all this symbolism at how they're going to kill off Sully or someone. And then they never do. And you're just left there going, well, then what were all of those comments about, like, he would give his life for you, Nate. Don't make him. And you're like, okay, I won't. And they never do anything with it. They just chicken out at the last second. And it kills me. I'm just mounting the water cooler now. Going firm, but not rock hard. Good. Good. We have power and data. This is labeled 1, and these 2. Okay. We're going to check the manual. Let's see what we got in terms of... lost my place. Dimitri says, did you hear Tom Holland is going to play young Nate Drake? Thoughts? I don't know. Video game movies, I think, are inherently, they can't really work too well. And I think they can't work because we're talking about a series, like we're talking about a media which is inherently interactive. And when you switch it and all of a sudden you're dealing with movies, it's 2 hours instead of 15, and it's not interactive. I mean, maybe it could work if for any game, a Naughty Dog game, which are linear storytelling ones, but I don't know. I don't know. Cable to the... Okay, so this is what this manual says. Connect the pump power cable to the CPU_fan header on your motherboard. Pump power cable. Pump power cable. CPU fan. Right. Where are we going? There. Good. Okay. Okay. Connect pump to, well then what the fudge are these? The fudge are these? AI pump, there we go. Nope, that's wrong. Because those are headers. Those are male ends, not female ends. Did I miss a step? Probably. Geralt says he's missing the whole damn stream because of trash mobile surface. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Luckily, we're just trying to keep this working. To a USB header. Okay, that makes sense. Cables. Oh. Nope, that wouldn't be it. Solar fans and radiator. The problem is they include instructions for like 30 languages, but they don't give you anything specific. So connect power to the fans and pump. Is that what they're talking about? That the fans need to hook into these? Is that what they're saying? So that the fans are connected inherently to that cable? That could make sense, potentially. Let's lift it up and turn it round like that. There we go. Yeah, I think that's what it meant. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Get it in there. There we go. And that one goes like that. Okay. Cool, and those I will zip tie there while we're at it. Get it through this cable management hook. And we'll zip it up. I will also trim it because I don't like long hairs. Okay. Let's see. Angel N says, what do you think From software have cooking up? I honestly think, and I thought I made this opinion clear in my video, but I guess I didn't. I think what they're doing is they're preparing a new IP entirely. And this new IP is going to take a lot from Bloodborne, but they're going to pull a sort of Dark Souls 1 from Demon Souls and switch them out so that they can retain full rights to their products. Which makes sense, and I think it makes good business sense to do. But it's a little frustrating because we would all like Bloodborne, but they don't have exclusive rights to Bloodborne. And I don't think they like being subject to Sony's whims. Now, Sony can make a Bloodborne 2. I'm guessing based on, it depends on what kind of deal they struck. and contract they've signed for the rights. But I have to imagine they signed something that gives them the rights to it, because they published it and sponsored it. So Sony could develop it, but they also might not. It's just hard to tell at this point. Hard to tell what they're going to do. I'm going to just manage these cables a little bit before we get too ahead of ourselves. And I'll probably regret this because I will probably have to undo it all, because I will realize that I messed something up. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'll trim that when we get to it. Now I'm going to install the RAM while I'm here. Geralt asks, hey Luke, can I run Minecraft with 4 GTX 1080 Ti's? Maybe. Maybe. I've actually, my little brother, and like, well, all my siblings really, but my little brother especially really likes him some Minecraft, and I've been thinking about getting it for the Switch so I can take it places and he has something to do if all else fails. But apparently there's been issues with it, specifically in trying to switch between like the desktop or the docked version and the portable version, because apparently there's some translation issue between changing resolution within Minecraft's systems. I won't pretend to know how it works, because I don't. But it's interesting. I don't understand why that would be. Let's see. Marlowe says he's going to be building an AMD gaming PC with max 5.0 gigahertz. Well, it depends on what processor you're getting and what you're doing with it. My 8350 I've overclocked. Well, I think it's at like 4.4 or something. It's a bit of a beast, but yeah, no, he's pretty hardcore. USB 3, USB 910. I don't know why that's there. Okay. Okay, let's get this plugged in here. Let's get these plugged in while we're here. USB 2.0. Maybe, let's see, these are all keyed, thankfully. Okay. Where's our other one? Got another cable. Oh, these are all reset switches. LEDs. Great. Let's see. Anonymous Gaming says, what's your view on indie games? I think they play a really important role. I think they're wonderful. I would like to see more, actually. I think you can never have enough of them. Speaker, power, reset. Start from the left and work right. Power LED. That's P+. And that goes... I have two biggest sausage fingers for this, I'm telling you. It's a real struggle. This is P-. Okay. The first time I built a PC, I did this part wrong and fried my chassis speakers, or not speakers, USB ports. So I'm going to be careful to do it right. Power. They're all labeled so tiny, can't even really see. Do 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 do. Where did I put that manual? No, that's the case manual. Did I put it back in here? No. It's a little booklet. I set it aside when we were starting. Yep, underneath all this. Shocker. Shocker. Okay. Wiring 11. System control panel, page 121. Okay. PLED plus, PLED minus. Okay. I got this. I got this. This is the most fun, right? It's all these single pin power connectors. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Mario says he's looking at getting 16 gigs of RAM, but will upgrade to 32 in the future. Yeah, I'd say that you should. It depends on what you're doing, but 32 is excessive unless you're doing a lot of video editing or something. I happen to be, because I'm like that. But yeah, if you're not, then you don't need that much for gaming. But if you are, go for it. Get the best RAM you can get. Makes a difference once you're in Premiere and Photoshop. Okay. Reset switch and power switch. Power. Reset. Okay. Chassis mount reset button for system without turning off system power. Yeah, that makes sense. Reset. Okay, HD LED. Let's get the LEDs in. Ah, sausage fingers. Choo. Sorry I'm quiet. It's hard to reach these damn pins. Come on. Most frustrating part of the entire build is trying to get those on. Okay, next, reset and power. Power is there. Let's do the reset first. Okay, and power. Okay. And then we have USB 2. No, HD audio. HD audio, which goes where? Let's see. Freedom Box says, I would love a video like the Unity one. On what? On what? I probably missed that. I don't know. I missed it. Oh, the Unity one was fun to make. And I found a work... what would you call it? A workflow that makes it go much faster than what the Mass Effect one did, for instance. That one took forever. HD audio, that's what I'm looking for. Okay. Where is my HD audio? Speaker chassis. Must be right here. Is it just the speaker? Well, but he's 4x2. Just reading out the labels. Want to make sure I don't put them somewhere they're not supposed to. I'm not sure where that's supposed to go. I'll be honest, it's not clearly labeled. Ground, speaker plus 5 volts. Well, but it needs a lot more than that. I don't know where this is supposed to go, you guys. AAFP? What's AAFP? Analog, yeah, there it is. AFP, that's what it is. Found it. You proud of me? Okay, that's all of those front panel ones. Okay, so we can tie that up, and then we're gonna attach wherever I put it the USB for the water pump. Here it is. Jake Goffner says, how are you planning on transferring all your files and gay porn to your new computer? Good question, Jake. Well, a lot of it, luckily, I can just basically do a SATA transfer really quickly. So it shouldn't be a real issue. Should go quite quickly, actually. Oh, of course it wants to go that way. That's the least fancy thing I've heard all day. I'll just try to tuck it really tight in this grommet, and we'll come back out the other. But okay, we got RAM there, we got that there. Water cooling should be good to go. Okay. Get that up like that. Put that there. Let's see. Carol says, America always strikes me as funny. You can have that flag on your underpants, but the anthem must be listened to with a hand on your heart. That's fair. We could use a little reverence in our culture. I agree. Something we are lacking in. People don't take much seriously. I think we could stand to gain quite a bit if we learn to take things a little more seriously. Let's zip tie that. Okay, goes through this grommet, and they want this one to go, I do believe they said, to a USB 1 header, and that is doable. Knocked it off. Yeah, Geralt of Rivia, LMAO, are people going to start calling him Lucas Dung now that I said it on a stream? It would be funny. I don't care. Call me whatever you want. USB attach pump unit to motherboard USB header. Okay, just USB header. Okay. In that case, it probably makes more sense to come up through the bottom. Whoops. There we go. Okay. That's good. That's good. So the water cooler should officially now be mounted. Mario asks, what case is that, Lukey? It is the H440 by NZXT. And the great thing about NZXT is that it's all steel, so it's very, very sturdy, but they also have it so it's designed very cleanly, so you can have great cable management, which is really, really nice to have. Very handy. But okay. And like even something like this, the top panel is off because I had to work on the radiator, but the USB ports and everything, they're still on here, so they're attached beneath, so you don't have to do any weird cable unplugging when you take this off, which is really handy. There we go. Good. Click, click. That's what I like to hear. Let's pull. Now we're just cleaning up some of these cables. Because there's a lot of slack. Come on. I'm just going to turn it around. There we go. I don't know why I'm making it harder on myself. we're just trying to pull all these a little more taut. Nope. USB header is not liking this. What's wrong? What is wrong, my friend? Whatever could be wrong. No, that's right. The placement of the USB 3 header, I would say, could stand to be improved. That's my big thing with this so far. That's the one thing that I think is severely lacking. Okay. Need one more. Okay. There we go. There's that. And we zip that. I could rearrange all these, but I'm not too concerned with it. Okay. Now let's mount a couple of SSDs, because that's fun. Then we'll throw in the graphics card. We can do that first, I guess. I got Diabetes asks if I have played Prey and if I finished it. I played a bit of Prey, but I did not finish it. Not for any vitriolic reason. I simply wasn't in love with it. First-person shooters, I tend to have trouble with anyways. I can get motion sick from them. And Prey, for me, was really bad with that. I wish it weren't like that, but a lot of FPSs I have trouble with. Wish it weren't so, but it is. Let's see. Let's see what you guys are saying. Coronagaro says the only problem I see in this case is that there is no basement for hard drives and SSDs. Yeah, in past cases like this guy, the hard drives, and not all the SSDs, the SSDs in this case can be mounted on the front floor, like in here. But they can be stored in the basement. They go right about here. They don't have any sorted hard drive cases, but what I found is that the cooling down there is really bad, and it's really hard to get in there to swap drives or replace them, which I'm having to do more and more nowadays with the ever-increasing storage capacity and need for the channel. So this guy has actual cages that you can use to store them, and they have probably 3 or 4 inches of clearance between each drive, and the idea behind it is that the front intake fans are right there, and so if you had them packed more densely like some of those Cooler Master cases, then the airflow wouldn't be good enough to adequately cool the case, and so they just forego that. which I'd say is this somehow got the wrong screw in there. Which I'd say is fair. I think it works. It works for me. And of course, I'll probably have a more informed opinion once the build is complete and I've used it for a few days. But as of right now, I think it'll do a good job. I haven't installed the hard drive yet. I'm also going to get another hard drive specifically for Steam games, so I can have more than a handful downloaded at a time. Because that's always frustrating. Let's see. Carol says, Lukey is a good example of what people go through to run Minecraft on realistic mods. Yeah, I guess you could say that. That's one way of putting it. That's good. So basically, these SSDs are now mounted on these little brackets that will slide on. And what I'm going to do, we have our SATA cables. And these are what will actually connect them to our motherboard. Okay. A little curved coming out of the bag, but that's okay. Some people like a little curve. I don't understand it, but some people do. Some people do. There. Oh. There we go. So I'm going to put this guy in the crowded space. There he goes. And put him in securely. This guy in the more visible space because he looks prettier. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. How are you? Ugh. Okay. Hi, I'm still here. Neat Sarah says, I think the only fan in my case is the CPU cooler. That's baller. That's baller. Depending on your computer setup, that could work just fine. It's a PC from 2010. Is it pre-built? Did you buy it from like Best Buy or somewhere? Or did you build it? Bonnie says it's all about walls at Lukey Poo. That's why people like curves. I guess some people really like their curves. I cannot see what I'm doing. There it is. Okay. This one has a right angle. Is that going to be a problem? I didn't realize this had a right angle. It might. Yeah, that's not going to work. So this SanDisk we're going to swap out because it's got a right angle SATA cable. Okay. That's not going to work. So instead we're going to use another straight one. Yeah. Easy fix. That's what I like. Easy fix. This one's also more crammed, so I'm going to pull out the power cable. This clearly labeled SATA, so we're going to plug it in. If I can see where it goes. Yeah. It goes right there. And this should work out actually pretty nicely. Shuju. There we go. Get this guy plugged in, so we'll have power. And come on. Come on. Work with me. There we go. I had trouble plugging in this Samsung one before as well. It's just a little resistant. There we go. We're gonna put the other thumb screw. Choo 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 choo. Okay. I don't know where I put the other thumb screw. I just set it down somewhere. Oh, it rolled. It rolled. Get out of there. There we go. Okay, and then this SATA power cable. Feed him through. That area is already damn crammed. My goodness. This will be a miracle if it fits together. I'll put together your PC, just don't ask me to wire it well. There we go. Lock it down, and then we should have our SSDs ready to go. Okay, so that's that. Now, we gotta plug them in. This is gonna be our primary. Just turn it around. This is gonna be our primary. We'll put them in number 1. And then our secondary is going to go in number 2. We'll put them up there. There we go. And let's turn him around. You can see what these are the cages I was talking about. I'm using this one for, well, basically for keeping my wires. So I'm gonna use the top one for this Baricuda drive. They also have sound dampening foam mounts, which is nice. Keeps them quiet. There we go. And we're going to mount the Baricuda. Okay. Put that. I need to keep these static resistant bags because they actually come in handy when you're doing something like this, for instance, and you're having to store a graphics card for a couple days. It actually becomes really useful.
Nothing makes you appreciate those YouTubers who do like the super clean build guides, and they have like custom water-cooled loops with hard tubing that they use like blow torches to form. It's absolutely insane what some of those guys can do. But they make a good amount of money doing it, and they can sell it to whoever because it looks awesome. So I guess it's okay. That's the one time I've considered paying somebody to build a PC for me, is for those custom water cooling loops, because they can look really good. Really, really good. Get in there. Come on. Yeah, no, I don't know how long this stream has been going. We haven't dropped any frames, though. Oh, 2.5 hours or so. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun. At least I am, because hopefully this will work when I power it on. But, yeah. Last screw in. And then we're good to mount it. And these are kind of weird. I have to hook in the back. Like that. Kind of sketch until you get them screwed in. There's no sliders for them or anything. Tighten them up. Don't want them falling. There we go. Nice and sturdy. Now this one we can use a right-angled SATA cable on. No problemo. Let's have him come in. No. Come on. Get up in there. Don't be shy. Those SATA cables are crammed, but they're all good. And we gotta power him. We need another SATA power. Let's use this one. The SATA power is on the far side. Yeah. There we go. And power. Cool. Cool. Now let's get the graphics card in. Once all this is hooked up, don't worry, we will make sure to do some more cable management. I probably won't make you sit through that because we've already been going for a while, but okay. Our GPU bundle. Okay, what do we need for power on this thing? There. Let's see. Bonnie is asking how you get a link to a Patreon. Well, once you open one,
Like for your own channel, I'm guessing you mean. Once you open one, you just get a little kind of dashboard page, and you just link them to that. And if you've done everything else right, you should have like an intro video and stuff, so people can kind of see what you're about. We're gonna need 4, which is pretty standard. VGA 1. Get them in there. Come on, work with me. Can't see what I'm doing. There we go. And my guess is this second place will be good. Okay, let's get the graphics card in. Isn't this a beauty? Isn't he pretty? He's real pretty. But we got to take off these first. Okay. The second and third. I'm going to take off the second and third. Come on. There we go. Neat says post the Discord link in the description. Okay. Just a second. I will do it in just a second. I think there's a link automatically in the description. There might not be. You can check on that while I try to get this unscrewed. There we go. At least I meant to put one in the description so anybody could join in. What are the specs? Sci-Fi Raptor Rex. GTX 1070, Intel i7 7700K. We got 2 SSDs running. We got 32 gigs of DDR4, 2666 RAM. Water cooled with an H100i2. And yeah, my guess is I probably forgot. I'm not surprised. Let me switch. How do I do this? Hold on. Just to resync. I'm not sure if it actually works. Oh, we got a new patron. Must have just happened. Wait, where's Discord? There we go. Share. Never expire. Copy. And this should be good to go. Okay. Okay. So those are cleared out. Let's mount this puppy. Okay. The mounting brackets are on the inside. It's kind of new. I'm sorry you get such a good angle. I do not have the gear for this type of video, especially live. I thought about buying a second webcam for it. Like, find an open boxed Logitech 920 or something. Just use that, but couldn't justify it for a one-time build, you know. Maybe that's selfish of me. I don't know. Okay, so we're just securing it down. So that our graphics card doesn't budge. Then we got our power. Actually, we might be able to run up along this drive, because the side panel will cover up most of this. And there we have power. Okay. The bottom is the messiest part, but that's okay. And we should be getting pretty close, actually. Should be getting pretty close. I gotta trace our fans. CPU fans. These need a Molex power adapter, otherwise our case fans aren't gonna work. At least that's what it's looking like it wants. Okay. Molex power adapters. Molex power adapters. Where to put the power box? Nope, that is not it. Here we go. It's the last bundle. Damn it. I dropped it. Peripherals. Let's plug the peripheral in. This has to be a 3-point slot. That's a lovely noise. Yeah, that looks right. Get this guy in. Good. Molex power. Let's connect him. This is what the fans will use. Okay. I think that's correct. Let's double check that case manual just to make sure we don't fry anything. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. And that looks good as well. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all good. I'm looking at it now. It's looking pretty fly. The room is a mess. But let's just trim these zip ties because they look kind of rubbish right now. Let's trim that. Trim this one. It's important not to cut the wires when you're doing that. Yeah. That might be it, guys. That might be it right there. So if I turn this guy around and use a few zip ties. Still got audio, right? Yep. Let's just zip tie some of this back where it will be a little cleaner. That one goes there. And that looks good there. I'm not too concerned about that. That looks good. Let's zip tie him. And we are nearing the end. Okay. Let's put the back plate on, which also is covered in sound dampening foam. Right, I just saw a neat Sarah. Cannot forget the little RGB kit. I knew I was forgetting something. We also put the RAM in, right? Yeah. Okay, made in China. Comes with a little remote. Little instructions. Okay. So there's a little receiver module that you can put in your case. Not sure if it depends where. My guess is it has to be reasonably accessible. I've never actually installed one of these little guys. But they lead out to what look like direct links to the strips, which are these guys that I believe are magnetically attached. Yeah, I like that. That's 4 pins. Okay, I'm able to put one on the top too. How sweet is that? The old ones I had were linked with like adhesives, and one day they started melting, so I frantically ripped them out of the case, and I've never trusted these strips ever since. But if this works, I will be happy. I will be quite happy. Say it's high noon with a Texas accent. High noon. What the hell? Oh, that's kind of trippy. Look, it uses SATA power. That's weird. That's friggin' weird. But okay. You want SATA power? I'll give it to you. Get this guy, a little AC. I put him right there. Let's just hope I don't have to take this apart anytime soon. Because that will be one hell of a hassle. What if I just left him in there? And then connected these. I don't know where this goes. Where does that go? It says CHQB. Okay, let's check. Step 1. Connect controller box and PC power supply with SATA connector. Okay. Yeah. Okay, make sure you connect the cable and strip tightly. Stick the receiver module to a conspicuous area in the PC case. Make sure the control panel is facing the receiver module when controlling it. Okay, so it does have to be pretty accessible. So we'll put it down like here. Let's just go like this. And then we can stick it like there. I think that works for me. Okay, let's just peel off that adhesive. Oh, that did not work. Come on. This is very cheap. Come on. Work with Daddy. There we go. That's like that. I do not know where this is supposed to go. Doesn't have any connectors, it just says CHOB. Oh, is this like the receiver? Is this the actual antenna? Is that what that is? Probably. It has a sticky piece. Let's draw them up there. These guys will loop back. And connect. Okay. Where's my other header? It was from the top one. There it is. This is very intense. But okay. I think that's good. That should be all we need to do for that. Okay. Let's put the back piece on. Back panel, sorry. Come on. The sound dampening foam removes like any wiggle room. Work with me till days gone by. Come on. Come on. There we go. Nope. Maybe not. No, that feels right. Nope, not completely. There we go. Screw them in. We're close, guys. Bonnie says, "Excuse me, sir. You said the back piece instead of back panel. Unsub, unfollow, good day." There are some people, some purists, that I'm sure would do that. But I'm sure they would have stopped watching a long time ago. This is just an extender, but we don't need it. But okay, what I'm going to do, let's get these cables all back in the case. Hastily. In the moment of truth, after a sip of coffee. Let's try this. This is on the outside or inside? It's on the inside. Let's go ahead and peel this off in what is one of the most satisfying moments of any new product. If I can get it off. Oh, it's on both sides. Okay. It's actually good, considering how dinged up the box was when it got here. I'm glad there's extra layers of protection. Oh yeah. They should just have entire strip clubs where it's just peeling that cellophane stuff off of electronics. I think you'd actually see a lot of people show up. You pay $5 to get in, you get to peel off the plastic cover from one of those, like a new cell phone or something. This needs to be a thing. Supposed to take the remote out. Okay. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, so heavy. This is all cinched up. Close that. Close that. Now, it actually looks pretty put together, if I do say so myself. Will this HDMI cable reach? No, I'm gonna have to turn it around. I'm oh so sorry, but I don't have a long enough HDMI cable. I'm also sorry. Okay, that goes in there. Let's put the power in. We're just gonna see if it posts. We're just seeing if it posts. Okay. Power on. Moment of truth. I could actually probably move the camera. Let's do it. Lots of lights. I'm coming. I'm coming back around. I'm coming. Oh. Okay. You see this? You see all this trash right there? That's the result of this build. But let's set you there and see if she posts. Fingers crossed. Oh wait, you see that? You see inside? See the motherboard? See how she's glowing? That's good. It means she's working. Moment of truth. Power button. Oh please, please, please. Oh, look at that. I'm watching the screen. Can we change the color? Look at that. We gotta be able to reach it. Look at that. Strobe. Oh, that's pretty sick. That's pretty sick. And guess what? It posted. Yeah. Okay, okay. So there we go. We did it. We did it. We can even do flashing. Okay, I see all the case fans are spinning. Corsair logo is illuminated. I think it worked. I think it worked. Okay, thank you for watching. This went surprisingly well considering that first boot it's going. I'm going to install Windows and start installing programs and XSplit and everything so that we can actually, I'm going to have a heart attack with that. Let's go like a Lukey Poo blue and let's strobe it. There we go. I feel so cool now. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to install everything on it and so that we can do talk gaming on it tomorrow. We're going to overclock it a little bit and we're going to have a great time. I'm excited about this. This thing looks like it's going to rule and I cannot wait for it. So thank you for watching. It's been a close to 3-hour stream now. So those of you who stuck with us all the way through, I'm very thankful. But thank you for watching. I love you all. Peace out. Awkward pause while I click the end button.